So, ladies and gentlemen, we have officially reached the summit of the UEFA Champions League group stages. We are finally in the final rounds of the group stages. It is match day 8 this Wednesday, and ladies and gentlemen, to say that the games and the risk and the tension is palpable would be a massive understatement, ladies and gentlemen, because as you all know, Barcelona, we are currently sitting 9th in the table in the Champions League, and we are currently in the playoffs table. But right now the table is looking very interesting, because from 3rd all the way to 9th there's a minimum of 2 points separating all of these teams. And this, ladies and gentlemen, is your full prediction of the UEFA Champions League match day 8. And yeah, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to talk about all of the games, and we're going to be doing something very special, guys, because you guys are going to be seeing me do the actual predictions of all the games, and where basically all of the results will entail every team's positioning in the Champions League. So if you guys like that, you guys already know what to do. Make sure you guys smash the like button, subscribe to the channel, turn on notifications, and let's get this started. So, ladies and gentlemen, as you can see, it is looking very interesting. Before we get started in the predictions, guys, take a look at the table. Currently, Arsenal have already secured top of the table already. They have already all but confirmed to be top. But as you can see, ladies and gentlemen, currently Bayern Munich, Liverpool, and Real Madrid, this could be, anything can happen here. Real Madrid still have a shot of finishing second, and so do Liverpool. But the interesting part, ladies and gentlemen, is what is happening from this area all the way down, because as you can see, Madrid currently finished 3rd with 15 points alongside Liverpool, Tottenham finishing 14th, Paris at 13, all the way to Manchester City, all the way down to Atalanta in 13th. So you can see, ladies and gentlemen, from 6th all the way to 13th, all of the teams are currently sitting with 13 points, and even below that you can go all the way down, and as you can see, all the way to 16th. The table is looking very interesting, and as you can see, Barcelona are currently sitting 9th. We are currently 13, and only goal difference is keeping us out of the playoffs. But we will see, ladies and gentlemen, before the end of this prediction where Barcelona will be in the table. But as you can see, like I mentioned, there's a lot of great games coming up in this final round. One of the big games is up here, the PSG versus Newcastle game, which, as you can see, both teams currently sitting in the table right now, 6th and 7th. So one of them loses and some of these other teams take advantage. We could see one of these guys drop down. Dortmund is playing Inter, who are currently in the playoffs as well. So either of those teams win, one of them could take advantage and the other one could be doomed to playoffs. Barcelona will be taking on Copenhagen, so we have the luck of the draw. Benfica will take on Real Madrid. Madrid going all away to Benfica. But yeah, there's a lot of tasty games coming up in the Champions League, including also Napoli versus Chelsea. But yeah, basically this is all you guys need to know. So let's get straight into it. As far as the first game is concerned, prediction wise, it's PSG versus Newcastle, 6th versus 7th. Currently both of these teams, you know, PSG, they were surprisingly defeated by Sporting in their last game, and Newcastle, they won their game, and this is going to be a very, very interesting game. It's going to be played at the Parc des Princes, and quite frankly, I think that PSG are not going to slip this time. I think they're going to actually get the job done against Newcastle. So I'm going with a 3-0 victory for PSG. I think PSG are going to comfortably win this game by 3-0. But as far as the City versus Galatasaray game is concerned, currently, as you can see, they are currently down here. City have not had a good Champions League so far, but they're currently sitting 11th against a team that's 17th. So Galatasaray are currently out of the playoff area, so basically they are currently looking like they are standing at the bottom right now, so it's not looking good for them. But as far as this game is concerned, I don't think they're gonna win. I'm going with a 3-1 City win. I think City are gonna get it done. Liverpool, who are currently sitting who were sitting 4th, will be taking on Karabakh. I think they're going to get a comfortable win. I'm going with a 3-1 victory for Liverpool in this game. Now, Dortmund versus Inter. Something's gotta give. This game is gonna be very, very good. And honestly, both of these teams, they took a L in their last round. Dortmund lost to Tottenham, and Inter Milan lost at home to Arsenal. So right now, both of these teams are looking at the barrel. So if I'm gonna be very honest, I'm going to go for a draw in this one. I'm going with a 1-1 draw between Dortmund and Inter. And as far as Barcelona is concerned, we'll be taking on Copenhagen. Now, we are currently, we are currently where we need to be. But we have not looked good in the Champions League this season so far. We have been very, very terrible to watch, right? The performances have not been great. But in the end, we've been able to get the wins in our last two games. In our last game, we played against Slavia Prague, and honestly, we were not good, but we got the win against one of the worst teams in the Champions League. Before that, our last home game was against Frankfurt, which we won, but it wasn't good. But I'm gonna be very honest, I'm going with a Barcelona win. I'm gonna go with a 3-1 victory for Barcelona. I think we're going to get the job done against Copenhagen. Now, this game, very quickly, I'm going to go very quickly for Arsenal. I think they're going to comfortably win this game by 4-0. Leverkusen versus Villarreal. Now, Villarreal are already out of the Champions League, and Bayer Leverkusen are currently sitting in the playoff area, so they could realistically still get a shot of maybe making it, but very, very unlikely. But I'm gonna go for them winning this one. I'm gonna go with a 2-0 victory for Bayer Leverkusen. Now, Atletico Madrid versus Bodo Glimt. Now, Bodo Glimt got a big victory in their last game in the Champions League against Manchester City. Atletico Madrid got a draw against Galatasaray. So right now they are currently also another team that is promised an opportunity to make it through the automatic round of 16. But it's going to be very, very interesting. Could Bodo Glimt maybe get something out of this game? It remains to be seen. Currently, they are currently 28, so they really don't have much to play for. So yeah, basically, I think this is going to be a Atletico Madrid win. I'm going to go with a 2-0 Atleti win. Now, we have Benfica versus Real Madrid. Now, Benfica are all but out. Real Madrid are currently sitting third in the table, still have a realistic chance of being second. And I'm gonna be very honest, I think that they're gonna get the win here. I think they've been very, very awake in the Champions League this season so far, recently, especially with Arbeloa. The performances have improved massively. So for me, I'm gonna go with a 2-1 victory for Real Madrid. I think they're gonna get a 2-1 victory against Benfica. And as far as Frankfurt versus Tottenham is concerned, now this is gonna be interesting because Frankfurt are already out. Tottenham, they're currently sitting 5th in the table, so they're looking good to basically qualify for the round of 16. But this, ladies and gentlemen, is where I am going to put my first big surprise in the Champions League, because I am going for a Frankfurt win. I'm going for Frankfurt beating Tottenham by a 0-0. I'm going with Frankfurt because I just don't trust Tottenham. I think Tottenham, there's a likely chance that they could end up slipping and, giving Frankfurt the win. So I'm going to go with Frankfurt 1-0. And next up we have Club Brugge versus Marseille. Now, I think Marseille still have a shot of making it to the playoffs. I'm looking at the rest of the table right now. So yeah, they're currently sitting 20th, so they're currently in the playoff seats right now on the unseeded area. So they're looking good. And as far as Club Brugge is concerned, they are not far off. They're still a point outside of the playoffs. So right now we will definitely see, but I potentially do see. I'm gonna go in this game with a 1-1 draw. I'm gonna go with a 1-1 draw. I think Marseille will just do enough to get a draw. Now, PSV taking on Bayern Munich. Now, PSV have been very impressive at home, right? They have been very impressive. They've been doing good. They're currently 22nd, so they're in the playoff areas. Bayern Munich are trying to secure second right now, and I know they lost this weekend, but I genuinely think that they will book their ideas and they'll get the win against PSV this time. So I'm gonna go with a 3-1 victory for Bayern Munich against PSV. Now, this rest of these other games, I'm not really putting too much attention on it. We got Ajax versus Olympiacos. Now I'm gonna go with a 2-0 victory for Olympiacos. I'm saying Olympiacos are gonna get the win away at the Amsterdam Arena, because honestly, Ajax, they've just given up in the Champions League this season. So I'm going with a 2-0 Olympiacos win. Now this is another game where we could see some drama. We have Napoli versus Chelsea. Now Napoli are fighting to be in the playoffs. As you can see, they are currently, as currently things stand with all the results, they will be 26. So they still have a shot. The points is still, very, very, in their favor. And honestly, Chelsea away from home have not looked impressive. They have not looked impressive. So I'm gonna go for a big statement, and I'm gonna go with a 2-1 Napoli win. I'm saying Napoli are getting the win against Chelsea in this game. Now, next up we have Monaco versus Juventus. Juventus right now, they're currently sitting comfortably in the playoffs, but like I mentioned, the points are not that far off, and that's why in this game I'm gonna actually go for a 2-2 draw. I'm gonna go 2-2 between Monaco and Juventus. Now we have Union SG versus Atalanta. Atalanta, they are currently in there with the rest of the other teams, including Barcelona, in the shuffle right now. But they did lose their last game against Athletic Club, against a Union team who basically are already out. So I'm gonna go in this game. I'm gonna go with a 3-2 Atalanta win. I think they're gonna get the job done and they're gonna get the win. Now, this is another game where anything can happen. We have Athletic Club versus Sporting Lisbon. Now, Athletic Club, they're also fighting for a playoff, and then you've got Sporting, who are also fighting to basically secure top 8. But in this game, I'm gonna go for a 2-2 draw. I think that I think both teams have a lot to gain and a lot to lose. So I think both teams are going to step up for this one. So I'm going to go Athletic Club getting a draw against Napoli. And the final game in this group stages, honestly, I'm just going to give Pafos the win. And yeah, that is, ladies and gentlemen, my predictions of the table, guys, right? And if my prediction is any correct, this, ladies and gentlemen, is how the table will end up on at the end of Wednesday. Arsenal will be top, Bayern will still be second, Real Madrid will be third, so with the same amount of points as Liverpool, who will be fourth. PSG will make it, so will Barcelona, so will Manchester City, and Atletico Madrid will be the top 8. And currently in the playoff seeded teams, we have Atalanta, Tottenham, we have Sporting, Newcastle, Inter Milan, Chelsea, Juventus, and Dortmund making the seeded areas. And the teams that are not in playoffs unseeded are currently Leverkusen, Olympiacos, Napoli, Marseille, Galatasaray, Karabag, AS Monaco, and Athletic Club will be the teams to make it to the playoffs. And ladies and gentlemen, this is kind of how the bracket would look by the end of it. So this is how the bracket would look if basically the results do go that way, and we will know on Friday who the teams will be taking each other in the playoffs. But as far as Barcelona is concerned, girls, I'm predicting us to make it out of the group stages. We're gonna make top 8, and what means we will go straight into the round of 16. But like I mentioned, just you can see, so many of the big teams in the current playoffs and in the top 8 are all playing each other. So there is bound to be drama. So we will see what happens. But listen, let me know what you guys think about what my predictions are in the comment section below. And also, guys, in the chat, put your predictions, right? Tell me which games where you guys see some drama happening, some banana skins potentially, guys. Let me know in the comment section below. Make sure you guys smash the like button, subscribe to the channel, turn on notifications, all the beautiful stuff. And yeah, man, big up to you guys. Peace. Take care.